Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans? I would start off with a super exciting, hey, ha, ha. But guess what? We're probably going to make somebody mad today because, as the title stated, we're talking about Chris Benoit cards. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Chris Benoit, but, you know, history's history. And this was actually a request from somebody that listens to, forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but they said, you guys should do Chris Benoit cards. And I'm like, you got it, sir.
Because this is your card.
There it is. That's our official. We had Tony kind of pre-produce that, and then we just now put that into the show. So I hope you guys enjoy the kind of sound effects that we've got going now.
Yeah, we spared no expense on this show, man.
Yeah,
we use fancy sound effects.
So according to Trading Card Database, which we both, I think, don't think this part is accurate, 142 cards. And it seems like very, we say this every week. It seems like it's very low, but this one specifically does.
Well, as our show notes dictate too, it could be just because of his time of death of 2007. Maybe he just doesn't have any, at that time, that would have been a lot in 2006, 2007. But to date, he's not been put on any other piece of cardboard, officially anyways, that I'm aware of since then. But
well, and something else I've noticed with Trading Card Database, and we may have touched on this, but I think a lot of times they're not counting foreign produced cards.
That's
even
what
if
I'm
it's
saying, yeah.
Even if it's a bootleg and it does exist, like WTC puts it out there, these exist. They're not official, but they exist. Trading Card Database doesn't do that. So, and then if I don't think they count TCG either. So that could be a whole bunch of stuff there. But 142 cards. So if you're going to go after super collecting Chris Benoit, you probably could get it pretty quick, I would say, except for maybe that WCW auto. But we'll talk about that card in a little bit. We're going to talk about the first card, the rookie card. Tony, what do you got?
Mine's questionable, I guess. I mean, people are going to probably gravitate towards the 98 because it's actually a Chris Benoit card. But he was Wild Pegasus. He's got that 1995 BBM card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think that for many years, we've probably, as a card community, and especially for wrestling card community, we've negated these other foreign stuff and just think that, oh, it's just North America. But as we've, the world is smaller because of the internet. It's smaller, mm-hmm. So we can't discredit and just ignore that there are other cards out there from certain talent that existed someplace else. These are pack pullable type cards. They just came out of Japan. So to me, that's going to be the rookie cards at 95 BBM.
100% agree. I'm with you though. I think there are people out there that look at the WCW card and they're like, well, it's pack pull. Well, so was the BBM. Well, it's the first card that says Chris Benoit. And something I've actually kind of started thinking about this is interesting that in sports, I constantly like to make parallels between sports cards and wrestling cards because I think that the sports card world is so far in advanced as far as their thinking over wrestling cards. But there's so many parallels that people could learn off of. And one thing that I see is, okay, I want to plug, we had Shane Norton on Sports Card Nobody podcast. He does a top 5. And usually what his number one of the player that wore the jersey or top 5 in whatever kind of the subject matter is on that, he's like, he starts going, okay, well, if you want to go after their cards, what do you look at? And so we're going to talk about Chris Benoit. So if you want to talk about his rookie card, then you go to Wild Pegasus or you go to this WCW one. But in a sports card world, you might say like Tom Brady, okay, well, his rookie card is the Patriots card, but his most valuable card is actually a Tampa Bay Bucks card. And some people would say like, well, it's his first appearance in another team's jersey. And
I posed this question, by the way, to the Card Foundation guys. Did one recently on one of their podcasts. They talked about, and it wasn't me, because I even heard they covered rookie cards. They picked Dexter Lumis.
Of course.
But I didn't pick that. So it came in through was it Rick Vox?
Somebody else picked it. Yeah.
Somebody else picked it, and so they're like, wow, I thought this would have been a Tony Vella question like that. Like, no, it wasn't him. But they talked about like, well, we don't really consider his rookie card would be. I think 2 of the 3 guys picked his first rookie logoed Topps card from. And so they don't pick his Stan Shaw character or Sam Shaw character from TNA. So I posed a question. I go, well, I'll pose it. You can read the names here, okay? I go, is this a rookie card?
Yeah.
Or is that the rookie card?
Right. Yeah. That is and we're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor. Yeah. There's the same thing when sports cards exist, and they just look at it a different way. Like, and there's people that are, I understand if you're a fan of a specific set, or you're like loyal to AEW and you hate WWE, so you only consider like the first AEW card as the rookie card.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't just discredit facts, actual things that actually exist. You can't just go like, well, it's his first AEW card. Yeah, but he has been around longer. Okay, you can't like, this is the day he was born. Nothing. I mean, no, come on, man. It's just ridiculous.
I understand the perspective, but it doesn't work that way in sports cards. It's not going to work that way in wrestling cards. So we've established Wild Pegasus. I think we're both on board with that. So best card, I think this is going to go both ways, and I'll start with this one. The WCW auto from, is it 98? I always forget. 98. Yeah. Okay, I always get 98 and 99 because I know they had different talent in each one of those.
Yeah.
But the 98 Chris Benoit WCW auto, the set it's the Wrestling All-Stars Junior, I like to call it, because it's like right there underneath it as far as like maybe one of the best wrestling card sets of all time, just for the lore and the names in the set. And he's in this. I believe this may be his first certified autograph card to my knowledge as well.
Correct.
So you've got that, but then you've got the like old school collector in that. Well, I'm not like an old school collector, but that mentality of base cards being autographed. And if you can find a Wild Pegasus 95 BBM signed out there somewhere, I would actually say that would be the best Chris Benoit card you could possibly find, but I've yet to see one of those.
Yeah, until one of those, shows up, I still think the WCW is going to be the go-to.
Yeah, that set just continues to, I did it's at the time of recording, it's not out. It actually just came out tonight, but I did the Wrestling Card Market Watch for July, and I just think it's interesting to see. Chris Benoit's a bigger name, but like names like Prince Iaukea, or like some of the wrestling all-stars names like Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff. Obviously nobody likes that guy for the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But his like all of these lower end cards in these two sets, they just keep going up little by little. And Raw, like they don't even have to be PSA 10s. Just the Raw versions of all of these just keep going up on the low end, not even the big names. So that's something I love. So we'll jump into the worst card, and I picked the 2002 Fleer Royal Rumble, AKA, and I don't like a lot of these, but for some reason that is card number 78, and I just I was looking for like I was like, okay, I know Chris Benoit's making some stupid faces and dumb poses in some of these cards, but I kept looking and I'm like, it's not that bad. But for some reason, that was the one that I just liked the least. I don't know.
Is that the one where it's a pose shot, right? And he's and he's just got that big gap in his teeth right there.
Yeah, I think like when I look at the Rabid Wolverine, you look at a lot of his images and he looks like that. He's jacked.
But isn't he smiling in this one a little bit? Like
he does not look. He looks like Chris Benoit, the dentist.
Very bad one too.
Yeah. Yes. The dollar store dentist.
Yeah, that is kind of a horrible card, right? It is.
Yep.
I got the 1999 Topps Nitro card number 48. He's doing a chop. It's just this weird look. He's like this child, like it's like he's swinging, and it's like that look at his face. Again, it's also an inaction shot. It's already going to be a bad card for me, anyways. And,
I thought
another horrible picture.
I don't know if it's a photography issue, that there's something, because if you look at like if you look at some of the other action shots going from like 1990 Classic all the way up to like current day Prism, most of the action shots are clear cut. Like it's a drop kick, it's a
Yep.
punch, it's a clothesline. But this chop, there's something weird about the image to me. I just like I don't really understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it looks like he's terrified of a very large fly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just horrible.
Actually, that 98 WCW, like I liked the like the 98 99. I like the base cards, like just the superstar cards,
Mhm.
and I liked the autographs, obviously, and the chromium that was in there was as like an insert. But then there was some
Yeah.
other like a lot of the other stuff in there I think's total trash.
Well, I like the chrome from the series one. So that
Hmm.
was all basically pose shots, and it
Yep.
was 10 card set. So you had Luger and Big Show. I mean, well, Giant, Hogan. You had all your stars there. So 10 cards, and it was that chrome card that you had to peel, the little
Yep.
protective sealants like that. Um, and then they did all these pay-per-view action shots for the second series in 1999, and I didn't like those at all.
I didn't like the shots. I
Yeah.
thought they were good quality. Like the chrome was good quality. I liked the font and the design. I just didn't like the pictures
Yeah, the
because
pictures
they're
were
action
somewhat
shots.
not. Yeah, they're action shots. Some of them didn't seem to be very as focused like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, we're going off on the different things there. But yeah, uh, that's my worst Benoit one.
So the card that we would create, which is always interesting. Let's see if I know mine is. I'll just go ahead and start. Mine's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Once again, we usually do the same kind of thing. So I believe it was 1990. Let's see. There was a interest. I think I don't remember the year. There was a year that Marvel put out, or Fleer actually. They had Marvel cards and they had sports cards. They were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So there were some metal cards that they had mashups, and it was like Barry Sanders with like the Incredible Hulk, or it was like Captain America with some other wide receiver, Marvin Harrison or something. So 1994 Flair, which I remember when I was a kid, Flair came out and they were thicker cards. The images was amazing.
Oh,
And
it's a
I think,
Fleer flare, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And they were expensive. I was like, $5 for a pack, and there's only four cards in here. What are we doing? Like, and I remember thinking, like, this is a ripoff. I get these bench players. So I think it would be cool to use that same imagery and have Wolverine versus Chris Benoit. Because you
That'd be
got
cool.
Wolverine versus the Rabid Wolverine, and a cool crossover. I love crossover cards, and that would be an action shot, sort of. But I've really seen a lot more recently. I've seen a lot of Upper Deck Marvel products where they have an action shot, quote, with two comic characters, and they make it look really cool. So I think that would be cool to see an animated Wolverine versus an actual real person Chris Benoit picture in the same card.
That'd been kind of cool. I like that with the nickname and everything like that. It works really good.
Yep.
That's great. Mine's pale in comparison. I like. I want to. I would. I'll trade you my card for your card. I went stupid. Just a dual piece of championship belt of Benoit and Eddie. Maybe having that picture from them in that was it WrestleMania 20 moment, and just kind of seeing that with all the confetti coming down, it's like that. Maybe having some kind of a small piece of belt or memorabilia of some kind to commemorate that moment.
What would be
Because
cool,
it's
and
kind of like the last really good moment you really have an image of Benoit in the rings like that, is that feel good moment of him and Eddie together in that
yeah,
rings like that. But
one thing I think that I would like to see is I don't think we've ever seen actual ring used, which they could certify it as ring used championship belts and relics. To my knowledge, we've never seen that.
no, I don't think so because those belts, the real belts
Hmm.
stay with the company.
Right.
Everything else becomes a replica.
Right.
So, I wouldn't mind even if a replicas like that. Maybe it doesn't have to be a belt. You know what, in that case, to me, I wouldn't even mind just having such a sort of an image that sticks in my mind of if I had to remember this person. I remember it more for Eddie than I do for him. But just kind of seeing that image and together. I mean, even have like a piece of like
Piece of the confetti.
piece of the confetti. That'd be great. That's what I was
If it
thinking. A
was,
piece of the confetti.
I think they could do so much more with less if they would put actual ring used random things from events that
Sure.
people like. What if what if like they had the the Shane McMahon dollar bills, or
Yeah.
something, that they
JBL
could.
had one of those too.
Yep. Like
Yeah, those were all great.
if they could do something that was actually involved with an event, and then it's not going to cost them anything. All they got to do is send it to the trading card company. They don't even have to have that great of an image on it, but if a fan can see that and be like, I officially own a piece of what I watched on TV that night. Like,
Yeah.
that connection there is one thing that I just
That's
love.
what made Fleer so special with their memorabilia card. They were way ahead of the
Absolutely.
game. Having steel chairs, having a piece of a ladder, having a piece or a table, having a piece of, I mean, Kurt Angle's milk carton, for crying out loud, a piece of
Yep.
one of his ribbons that he wore to the ring, so like that. And all of them, regardless. I mean, we can be conspiracy theorists all we want, but it does say it was worn at this event, and some of them had specific dates and time, where
Hmm.
it was worn and what matches they were. I mean, they were great. That's what Flair was so good about their stuff back then. That's why I really love that stuff.
So what do we think about Chris Benoit cards going forward? I
I
I don't
think
know.
I think I hate to. I think he's tapped out.
Oh my.
That's just basically. I mean, from an investment standpoint, I think I'm actually kind of surprised to see that sometimes he generates the numbers that he does. It's usually just the autograph card. Really,
Hmm.
it's the main focal thing. He has a chrome autograph too, I believe, from Topps in 2006
One,
chrome.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I don't think he has any other autographs. To be honest with you, I think he has 2 autographs.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm with you. It seems like that 98 WCW people still chase after that, but I still see people just like posting his cards in general, and I'm like, are they Chris Benoit collectors? Are they like set collectors, and they're just sharing off some pieces of the set? I don't know.
yeah, he's a weird topic to have.
Yeah,
Again, we're not trying to be polarizing in any way of like one side or the other. We're just taking it from a trading card aspects like that and talking about trading cards. Um, I find it weird that there's people trying to throw common singles up there from base sets and trying to make some money off that. And are people actually buying them? Are they selling? Do they move? I don't think any of them are getting a
I've
lot of.
I've sold a lot of like the low end base stuff from random Tops releases that have him in it. People
Oh,
buy them, so
interesting.
I'm just guessing it's a set collector and they need it for the set. But as far as like going after Chris Benoit, like you and I go after Loomis or Cross, like I just don't see people doing that.
Yeah, I just
Rightfully so, but I mean,
I mean, I know there's a section of people out there who are like, well, I just go ahead and distance myself from outside the ring, and I only
sure.
follow and I'm a fan of what he was inside the ring. And it's like, okay, well, that's you then. But I don't know if those people are actually collecting, are super collectors, that they got to go out and collect Benoit stuff. I think that the tip of the iceberg for him and price wise is what it is. I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere above and beyond that. So you might get lucky one day and someone who needs to have that Benoit autograph card for their set, they're missing it, might pay a little premium for it. But I think that what you see the market going for his stuff is probably where it's always going to be.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see there being any more demand or less demand. Obviously, I think we're as low and as high at the same time as we're going to be. We and you both like to push the agenda of super collecting. I just don't see that many people going back and be like, "Oh, I really connect with Chris Benoit." Like, I guess, but I just don't see that many people being able to pick him of all people to be
I'm
able
sure
to
there are
do that
people.
with.
I'm
So
sure there are people out there who are like that. I'm sure, but I think they are very far and few between.
yeah, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't buy them either, because if you're trying to put the set together, or if you just want a piece of one of the most popular wrestling card sets of all time, this WCW autograph card is kind of a no-brainer, like
Yeah,
regardless of who you have. So Chris Benoit versus Prince Iaukea, most people are probably going to want Chris Benoit over that. So I
true.
totally get that,
Yeah,
but I don't see the cards going up or down over the course of, but it's enough time has passed to where it can't go down anymore. But
yeah.
as we've stated, I don't think there's a huge collector base, but if that's what you want to do, go for it.
So you say, pick your lane, man, and stick with it.
Speaking of picking your lane and letting everybody know where they can find you and where they can find all the information about Chris Benoit cards that actually should be posted on Trading Card Database, but they dropped the ball.
Well, that would be WrestlingTradingCards.com. Celebrating 20 years this year, folks. 20 years. I keep forgetting to mention that. 20 years will be in December. Hard to believe, but everything can be found right there on WrestlingTradingCards.com. Want to get a hold of me? Us? I always say me. It's a team effort though, so I know I've actually gotten some messages before through the contact us on WrestlingTradingCards.com that address things. Say, hey, Tony and Chuck. Like they always address him too. So he's very, very much a big reason of why and what we are today now. So yeah, WrestlingTradingCards.com. Everything you ever want to know and want to connect with us is on there.
You can find me at Zhan Morning on all social platforms. I think at this point, Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. That's like my main hub for content. 2 videos each and every week. You can check out the Wrestling with Cards podcast, my solo podcast, where I try to get episodes out as I can. Me and Tony have talked numerous times about time constraints, and we just kind of do as much content as we possibly can with the time that we have around everything else. So if we brought you some value today with this topic, please subscribe, whatever you're listening to this on. Leave us a review and tell somebody about the show. Again, we talk about super collectors. I think maybe my number 2 thing that I'm most passionate about is talking about getting more wrestling fans into cards, whether it's Chris Benoit or whether it's Chris Jericho or whether it's, you know, somebody wanting to compete with me and Tony on our Dexter Loomis and Cross collections. Like, just more people, come out of the woodwork, quit buying your replica belts, quit buying those crappy t-shirts that are going to disintegrate in 2 years. Go buy wrestling cards. They hold more value. They're a lot more fun.
You know how many cool cards you can go out and buy for the price of one replica belt?
Yeah. Tony, do you have you started a Discord for Replica Belts R Us? The tight knit community that owns replica belts.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe if the fans demand it.
We just started something. Oh no.
No. I'm not the guy. Those messages will fall on deaf ears, people.
All right. Thank you guys for listening again. Subscribe, leave a review. Please tell some people about the show. Spread the listener base. And until next time, just remember, wrestling cards rule. We'll see you.